Hello everyone, it's Karen McLaughlin here, certified personal trainer in Hamilton, Ontario. Here with you for my usual Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Facebook Live broadcast. And this week I'm just popping in with a short one. I know I've said that before and I've talked for a long time, but I really am intending on this being very short and sweet this week. Basically I just wanted to pop in and issue a little challenge. A little summertime challenge. We're now what is it? I don't even know what the date is. I think it's the 17th or the 18th, something like that. July is just zipping by, and I thought, every year it just seems like the summer sort of slips away on us. It just goes by so fast. So with the 6 weeks or so we have left, I thought, why not have some fun, and I'll just toss a little challenge out there for you all, and I would love it if you would let me know what you're going to do for it, or even if you want to publicly commit to it. So the challenge is try a new activity that you haven't tried before, something physical or movement based. A lot of us, most of us, almost all of us tend to be creatures of habit, and we stick with the same things that we know. So, and I count myself in there. We get to a certain comfort level, and sure, I'll try something a little bit new every once in a while, but then I just settle into another routine. So I have like my own movement and exercise habits and routines, and sure, I move myself every day, and I make sure to put my body in all those things I've been harping at you guys about, making sure you're taking your joints through all their range of motion, shoulders, hips, feet, hands, elbows, knees, all that good stuff. So I do that, but I tend to use a lot of similar different ways to get the job done day after day. So what I thought would be fun is, let's try to break ourselves out of this rut and throw down this little challenge of trying something new. And, it doesn't have to be huge, but I do want it to be something that steps you out of your comfort zone just even a little bit. So not to the level where you're going to risk injuring yourself, something crazy dangerous or things like that. Just something that when you think about it makes you go a little bit, just to give yourself that little push. Some examples, like last summer, what I did was I went contra dancing with my friend Emily in Toronto, on Toronto Island, and that was like really outside of my comfort zone, let me tell you. It was fun, I had a great time, but holy cow, I'd never done anything like that before. So that was something I did last July, actually, that got me well out of my comfort zone. And last week, now this is going to seem a little kind of small, but for me it wasn't, because I was scared to do it. So I did two things last week when I was out playing around in the woods. I climbed a tree about 10 or 15 feet up the tree, which is not something I've never done before in my life, but I probably haven't done that since I was about 12, and I'm in my mid-40s, so it's been a long time since I tried to climb a tree, and I was surprised at how much mental, emotional sort of discomfort I felt at doing that and being like that high up off the ground, and it just was something I used to do all the time, and it was like it felt like I was taking every neuron in my brain to negotiate this tree climb activity, like talking myself through it. It's okay, you're not gonna like break your leg. And I picked a pretty safe tree. But, so that was a good challenge for me. The hardest part actually was getting myself back down. I got up and I was like, how am I gonna get out of this thing? But I did it. My advice after doing that was, maybe you want to do that when you have a partner around in case you really do need some help. I was by myself, and I got through it and I got down, but I had a few tense moments. The other thing I did, same day, same hike, was actually I walked across a log that was over top of a creek. And I don't think I've actually ever done that before. And so that, I've been feeling pretty confident about my balance. I've done a lot of walking on logs. I actually did fall off one the day before my birthday back in May and smacked the crap out of my shin. And this is, something that happens when we try new stuff is don't be dumb. Don't push yourself too far outside of what you know are your physical boundaries, but there is always going to be a little bit of risk that something can happen. Well, anytime we move ourselves, we're putting ourselves at risk that something could happen. So you got to take personal responsibility for your decision to do something. And I know my balance is good enough that I can walk across a log. And this wasn't a skinny little log. It was it wasn't a massive log, but it wasn't a tiny log. It was kind of a mid-sized log. So I thought, yeah, I can do that. And, if I wasn't able to do it, I was just going in the creek. It was a little creek, not very deep. And I wasn't too high above it. So it wouldn't have been like, I might have twisted my ankle if I'd have fallen off, which wouldn't have been the greatest thing in the world. But I judged the likelihood that I was going to fall to be fairly minimal and the consequences of that to be probably fairly minimal. And there was kind of some tree branches dangling down over top of the log that gave me something to kind of, they weren't super big, strong branches, but they're tiny, but it gave me something just to steady myself on if I needed to. So anyways, I took the plunge and I walked over this log across the water, and and when I got it wasn't in the middle, I was like, oh, yikes, but, I got myself across, and I actually had to go back across. I started to go back across it one way and then back across it the other way to get back to where I was. I couldn't just sort of walk around back to where I was. So I was pretty committed. Once I got one way, I had to go back. Anyway, so those are just some small examples of things that I did that I didn't even plan that day when I went out for my hike to do those things. It was just kind of like, here's a tree, I wonder if I can climb it. And, there's a log over a creek, I wonder if I can walk across it. So those were sort of smaller in the moment challenges, but while I was doing them, they were definitely, there was a mental, emotional challenge to doing those activities for me as well as the physical challenge. So that's kind of what I'm asking for, something that, is going to maybe push you a little bit physically, but it's really stepping outside your comfort zone mentally/emotionally a little bit as well. Because once you do something and you're kind of hesitant like that to do, maybe that discomfort, and then you do it, it gives you more self-confidence to be able to try something else new, okay? Plus it's just fun, right, to see what you're capable of sometimes. So let's see, I'm doing this in the middle of summer because there's so many great opportunities. Outdoor stuff is always more fun. So, if you've never tried canoeing or kayaking, get out there and try and do something like that. Maybe stand-up paddleboarding, which is my new love, and I haven't done it yet this summer, and I've got to go find some more. I can do some stand-up paddleboarding because it's so much fun, fantastic core and balance workout too. So those are all great water sport types of things. If you're going away somewhere kind of fancy, or if you have a friend who has a cottage and a boat or whatever, and they have water skis, and they ask you, do you want to try water skiing, and you've never done it, give it a shot. Super fun. I water skied a lot as a teenager, and oh my gosh, it takes some patience to get the hang of it, but once you're up there, so much fun. But a good physical workout too. Anyway, what else could you do? If you're going somewhere really fancy pants, like a resort where you could if you're going to the ocean, you could try surfing. That's one of my bucket list life goal things is I want to really go to Hawaii and take surfing lessons. That's on there for me, but that's not going to happen this summer. That's a great time of year to try. There's so many outdoor classes of things that normally are not offered outdoors. So I know here in Hamilton, there's tons of things like yoga in the park and that type of thing that obviously you wouldn't see happening in January. So look for those types of things. Sometimes there's Tai Chi in the park, boot camp classes in the park, maybe something like archery, not quite as vigorous, but it's a, definitely different movement and lots of skills that you need to put into, and again, just something maybe you've never tried before. Obstacle courses are getting to be really, really big, like obstacle course races, but if there's anywhere, I don't know whether there's anywhere where you can take like a class or something like that, or who knows, look around and see what's in your community. They might have like mini obstacle course races set up at like a community fair or something like that. So if anything like that, give it a shot, have fun with it. Let's see, what else did I want to suggest? Even things a little bit less out there, like just if you haven't played a sport like forever, like let's say baseball or soccer or beach volleyball, and one of your friends is like, hey, you want to come play with my, if somebody's either playing pickup or pickup game in the park, or they just have like a really casual league, the one non-competitive is just for fun, and they invite you to go play with them, why not give it a shot? Like, don't go for those. My husband's a hockey goalie, and he just always gets invited to go play with various teams outside of the one that he usually plays with, because everybody always seems to be desperate for goalies. And he's played with some pretty hardcore competitive ones, and those ones aren't as fun. Unless you're really hardcore competitive yourself. But if you're just trying something just to have fun, you want to look for a more relaxed team that's just goofing around and enjoying it, not trying to beat the crap out of each other. Ultimate Frisbee is another one that just comes to mind because I always see people playing that in the park, and I haven't tossed a Frisbee in a really long time. I'm coming up dry here on other ideas. I threw quite a few out there at you. The other thing, I guess, I did say, I tried contra dancing last summer, so there's lots of different types of dance, community sort of based dancing, and often I'll see at different festivals, they'll be giving lessons of different kind of dancing. Belly dancing, I have tried that. There's another one. There's tons of different things you could try. And, another one just to toss out there that's maybe not quite as much of a challenge, but even if you've never strength trained before, maybe that's something, like lifted like real weights, like dumbbells and stuff, give that a try. And if you have, but you haven't experimented with beyond that too much, and maybe you want to try a different piece of equipment, maybe you want to try a balance disc or some sandbags or medicine balls or battle ropes if your gym has something like that. Just look around and see what opportunities you might have available to you, and just pay attention to what's going on in the community, because there's so many of these types of things going on outdoors, and go for it. Just try something new. You'll learn something either way. Either you'll learn that you're terrible at it but you love it anyway, you're terrible at it and you hate it, or you just really love it and you want to keep doing it. So there's not really too much to lose with this challenge. I would love to hear what happens with it. Please, if you do decide to try something new, let me know about it, because that's half the fun. Most of the fun of me issuing this challenge is I want to hear about people's experiences with what they did and how that experience was for them. So either you can come back and leave me a comment here on this video, or I'm going to put it on Facebook. I am on Facebook. I'm not having one of those days where I'm really clued in, if you haven't already guessed. This is Facebook. I'm going to put it on YouTube pretty soon, in the next 12 hours. So you can find it on YouTube and leave a comment there if you don't want to comment here, or you could even send me an email or to yourfitnessgroove@gmail.com, or private message me here on Facebook if you don't really feel like sharing publicly, but you'd still like to let me know what you did. Okay, so have fun with it, and I hope you are enjoying some fantastic weather. It is a gorgeous day here in Hamilton, Ontario, for once. We're having a little break from the rain, so we are all celebrating it. Okay, so get out there, try something new, keep moving, stay healthy, and I will see you next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Bye.